I want to spend just a few minutes talking about some of AFBS's resources to make sure you're aware of everything that AFBS has to offer, and then I'm going to welcome up 𝗬𝗬𝗂 to talk about some fundraising that she's done and just talk a little bit more about that. And then after that, we will have a chance to have a Q&A just among ourselves. I know a lot of you submitted questions in the form that Greta sent out, and Lynn will help moderate that. So that's the plan for the next amount of time we have until 2:30. So I want to just start with talking about the care resources that AFBS has been developing over the years. How many of you are aware of or have used the care guide? Hopefully everyone, and if not, I want to make sure you know that is a wonderful resource. It's very robust and has a lot of great information. It's on our website, and encourage you to take a look at that if you have questions about any different area of care for Nemaline myopathy. That's a wonderful resource to have. Also, we have prioritized, AFBS's mission is to find treatments for Nemaline myopathy. That's always our priority. That will always remain our priority. But in the meantime, we know that finding treatments takes time, and we want to bring resources to you now that are helpful in terms of your care. And so we've started to develop some webinars and other resources to help support you in taking care now. So we have on our website, we have a recent respiratory therapy devices webinar that goes over all the latest in respiratory care. We did a recent webinar on accessible travel. Last year we did sessions on mental health, mental wellness support, which we know is a huge priority and very important for each of you as caregivers and individuals to be taking care of yourselves. So that continues to be a priority. Tomorrow there will be sessions on mental wellness, and so we encourage you to participate in those. So all of these resources and more are all on the website, so I just encourage you to utilize them. And also, if there are resources you're looking for, please let us know. We have a community advisory board that's comprised of caregivers and affected individuals that we utilize to make sure we're representing what you need and what you would value the most. And so we listen to them. That's our priority, is to listen to the community and bring what's most important and valuable. But we want to hear from everyone. So if there's anything that you're looking for, please reach out to us or talk to me and let me know. In the back of the room, I mentioned there's shirts. I think everybody has hopefully got one. If you're freezing still, grab a shirt and wrap it around you, because hopefully the heat will kick in or the air will turn off. But for now, there's shirts back there. But in addition to that, there's also these little awareness cards. They're the size of business cards, and they're a great resource to have if you want to share more about NM or about AFBS with maybe at school or in your community or anybody that you want to make it easy on yourself. There's great cards back there that please help yourself and take as many as you want. And there's also awareness packets, sort of similar to the cards but bigger. It has information about explaining what NM is and what AFBS does and what our priorities are, a QR code to our website, and then also has a darling sticker sheet. I know that the Lloyds have used these with Audrey in her kindergarten class and handed those out, which was really wonderful because the stickers are fun for the kids, and then it's a way to introduce Nemaline myopathy to the school, to the teachers, to the students in a way that's maybe a little bit easier to understand, because we try to make the content simplified. So please grab those on your way out, and we will have more available if you want them, and you can also order them through our website. Okay, and then hopefully many of you have already participated in the recent survey that we launched. It's called the Perspectives and Priorities Survey. Like I said, our priority is to hear from the community and make sure that the decisions that we're making as an organization are with your voices in mind. So this survey collects information about what your needs are, what your priorities are, and just more about how NM is affecting the individual that is affected. And so we're aiming to publish this data to help researchers understand Nemaline myopathy better, which has been guided by our scientific advisory board, who has communicated to us that this is a great value to the researchers and to advance to advance research. So we look forward to working to publish that data. But in the meantime, if you haven't participated in the survey, please do, because we want to make sure it's as robust and comprehensive as possible, representing as many individuals as possible. And then if you're not already receiving our emails, which I assume you are because you're here, but if you're not, please, we want to fill out the contact survey so we have your contact information. We can get you everything that we're communicating out throughout the year. All right, and then we have a new page on our website to get involved. We know there's a lot of different ways to get involved with AFBS, and we know it can sometimes feel like a lot that we're communicating and asking. So what we've done is put it all on one page. So it's sort of like a checklist where you can go through and see opportunities, ways to connect, ways to get on our email list, ways to participate in research. The awareness information is all there with links to order any resources you want, the care guide, and other events. You can get it through this website and through the QR code. And now, any questions about anything related to AFBS and our resources? No? All right, then I'm going to ask Leticia to come up to talk about fundraising. And I'll just start by saying, AFBS is pretty much exclusively funded by individual donors. We've received a few grants from the CZI organization, but pretty much exclusively all of our donations come from donors. So fundraising is a critical part of funding research. It's essential. That's the only way that we can function is with donations, and that's how it's possible. And so Leticia has participated in a lot of different fundraising approaches, and so I'm going to let her share about some of these examples.
Thank you, Jen. So I would just double what Jen just said. It seems a lot of professionalism. It's Jen running the things, but the foundation, the conference, and everything that goes throughout the year, the webinars, everything that we do, actually, it's like 9-10 people working like weekly to make it for us and for you, the community. It's not like a proper company with paid people working there that has lots of money flowing to make it happen. And as our goal is to fund research, plus then our work and webinars and putting people together, which we love, right, Lyn? Is, okay, we have to raise maybe $1 million, $2 million a year to keep the studies going on. So how do we do that? And actually, it's ourselves. And that's why I'm here to invite you to think how could you, as part of the community, to make a small effort in your own world to help us to keep raising those amount of money yearly to keep promoting the studies. And luckily, we'll get some treatment soon. So I brought here some of my own experiences to raise money. It's not an easy task to ask for money to our friends and families. We do it yearly by Cecilia's birthday gift, for example. But some friends of mine, they, I don't know how, they suggested me some things in the last 2 or 3 years that actually has blown my mind, and then I'm sharing this with you. So this is an example that just happened on May. A friend of mine just called me and said, why don't we do a wine tasting dinner and we put part of the ticket money for your foundation? I'm like, wow, can we do that? And she organized, she's the one in yellow here. I'm just beside her. Her name is Carol. And she just put it was maybe 40 or 40-some women together. We had a wonderful night, and we raised around, I don't know, it was 3K or 4K, nothing really special, but so meaningful, right? And this is just a small example that a friend of mine could put together for me, and there were more. So another friend, Monize, she had a bike thing, a bike challenge with her bike group, and she said, oh, maybe I can do for AFBS. So she spread the news among her bike riders and their family and friends, and she also could raise 5K because they would do a 1 day or 2 day path of biking, and they could do it, and I was like really, really happy with that, and she was the one who did that, impressed by this other friend of mine, next, that had run, she is also called Carol, many Carolinas in Brazil, and she had seen the AFBS marathon, New York Marathon thing, and she was going to run the Chicago Marathon in October just before. She said, "Oh, I'm already running. Can I also do it for AFBS?" I'm like, "You sure can. What do you need? What do you want?" And she's like, "I want to meet Cecilia, and my kids need to meet Cecilia." She has 3 daughters. I said, "Now, what do you want? Like, do you like coffee?" Like, and then they came to my house, and she put together a campaign. Me and Jen put a website for her because it's really easy to create a fundraising in our website. And then she also did her 5K fundraising thing for us out of the blue, and then it was like, and she actually ran the marathon with Cecilia's photo on her back, so it was another impressive story. And more stories, because that's why I'm here, because one friend did, and then I spread the news, and then the other friend was impressed by the other friend, you know, and the things goes on, and I'm still promoting these among my friends. Who does it better, like in fundraising and supporting our AFBS? So this is a friend of ours, Gustavo. He was already a New York Marathon runner for AFBS in one of the years, but last year, actually, he found out that the company he works for had these matching gifts, you know, that so we raised part of the Cecilia's birthday gift money in his campaign because he knows most of our friends. So, and then his company put like 1.5 times the amount that we actually raised, and it was a big amount. I don't remember, maybe almost 40,000 pounds, because it's a British company, right? The financial treasurer of AFBS is already validating my numbers, so I cannot like make it bigger than it actually was, so 40,000 pounds. And so we got that from the company, plus the 23 pounds that we raised through this company, because it was a 1 point something times. People who got the math, right? So, and then, okay, it always started with our campaign that we do yearly, because like raising money yearly is such a huge task, because if I ask you to do something for once, it's okay, you will do it. But what if I ask you to do it year after year after year for research? So what we do in our family is to put as a birthday gift for Cecilia, and actually it helped, and that's my advice for you, and let's keep pushing it, right?
Hi, Leticia. So I've asked this before, there has been no movement on it, but you're also from Brazil, so maybe you know more. We are from Canada, Toba, the Fleischers, and we don't have, myself and Josh, we don't have major connections, but we could probably do this kind of thing. It's a big problem that there's no tax receipt, it's not tax deductible in Canada. So what do you do with Brazil?
Yeah, in Brazil, unfortunately, there's no, yeah.
Right, so then we end up giving to like sick kids or Muscular Dystrophy Canada, because when you ask your friends, they want a tax, especially anyone who's going to give a substantial donation. This is a problem.
Yeah,
I just
we have 2 problems in Brazil. Yeah. This, and also our currency is like 5 times less valuable than a dollar. Yeah. So we suffer so much of this, because sometimes we get the Mexicans can relate to us, and yeah, so. But still, I know.
You're fundraising without tax receipts,
yes.
Basically. That's harder. Okay.
Yeah, we are doing, even though we don't have that.
Yes, please. This is like a bigger board question, I guess. Has there been any conversation about funneling donations to AFBS through a Canadian or a Brazilian or wherever? Because there are reciprocity. So I've also been doing some fundraising for research in NM, and we managed to set that up for donations made from the US so that they could get tax receipts.
I think we can try to figure out how to do it in a kind of group study that we can do. In Brazil, it's such a terrible, yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. So that's different, but for jurisdictions where you can. Got it. Okay.
That's because of NAFTA. Canada, US, and Mexico has the special treaty. Funny as it is, US has very bad treaties on taxes with the rest of the world because they just don't care. That's the reality. Mexico has a lot of those. And the challenge is we may get the discounts for Canada and Mexicans, but you really need to be a big amount of money, so it makes sense to pay the accountants to do, you need to do a second portion of the accounting for the reciprocity, and that's usually expensive. So the challenge is it needs to be a significant amount of money to be actually valuable, the work that you're going to pay for that.
Is there any accountants in the room? Do we have a volunteer accountant?
Yeah. Toba, I know your efforts in fundraising, and actually it has been going through NM community somehow, so it's totally like it's amazing as well. For other people in the room who hasn't done anything, just a few ideas of maybe what you could do, because in the end it actually depends on us. It's not that we have a big corporate thing behind us to support us. So I invite you all to get creative and things get going, and your friends see other friends doing it and they actually want to do it. You know, when you help others, you help yourself, because they are not part of this community. They want to help somehow, and yeah, it's not as hard as it can seem, yeah.
One thing that my mom does is, and they don't do it for AFBS, now I'm just thinking, why the hell we're not doing that? At least in Latin cultures, Christmas is a big thing, so you get together and you do exchange of gifts with every support group or every friends group that you have. So they have decided that for the last years, instead of giving presents each other, everyone is donating to a cause, and they do it just at Christmas time. So go for grandmas. Grandmas has a lot of way to do that stuff, and I'm going to ask my mom to do it.
Cindy, oh, here, I got it.
Can I give to Anna first?
Oh, yeah. Anna and then Cindy.
Yeah. And as you know now, we're all from Sweden, and in Scandinavia, we don't have charities. It's not in our culture, but you can do it because a friend of ours, he ran the New York Marathon for AFBS, a building foundation, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And we actually didn't manage, but it was hard because we do not do fundraisers over in Sweden. Mostly our stuff are provided by the government and even researchers and so on. But we did manage to get the funds for him running. And he ran, and he did okay. So, I mean, even though we come from a community this is not common, this is actually almost looked upon not good. But hopefully it will change also, and we can help out more.
Cindy?
Oh, hi, I'm Cindy Kinane. Something really simple to do that we've done in our neighborhood or our community is a bake sale. Like, it's really simple. Put it on your Facebook page. Go to your local supermarket or whatever store you have a relationship with and say that you'd like to have a bake sale. By us, it has to be by donation only. Like, you can't sell things. And usually when you do it that way, people wind up donating more, and most people don't even want a brownie, they just give you money. So that's been, it's not large amounts, but it's something simple to do, doesn't require a lot of planning. Or you can get a gift basket, some cool basket that you want to donate, yeah, and then again, people just seem to donate. So those are little things that we do.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Leticia, so much for sharing all that you've done. Jeremy, do an incredible job fundraising, and I love these ideas, and I do want to talk more about what we can do in Canada and other countries that there's opportunity. I know we've talked years ago about trying to start up a chapter or another organization in Canada. It's quite complicated it's basically building a whole new board and a lot of work, but we're open to it if there's enough resources and people to do that. So let's.
We just want to be able the people we ask in Canada, there is a culture of giving to charities.
Great.
You get a tax receipt.
Sure.
Bigger donations, you want a tax receipt because you're going to get 15% back. It looks, it feels very official. And I don't really want to. I just want to be able to do exactly the bake sales or whatever,
Yeah.
and be like, you're going to get a tax receipt for that. You're going to get, and then I feel like we'd be able to get not huge amounts, but 5,000, 10,000, something.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate yourself.
Yeah. But it would be easier if we could do a reciprocity.
Yeah. Okay. Let's explore that more and we chat about.
I have another question.
Okay.
Has there been a push towards major donors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. I want to start or emphasize that every donation makes a difference. The bake sales make a difference. It all adds up. We get a lot of small donations that do add up to thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. So that is significant. But of course, major donors have a greater impact. So that is a priority. It's a smaller group of people, but it's always something that we're focused on. And it really comes from our community. When there's a connection to what we're doing, if they understand the experience or know the person affected, it really makes a great impact on their willingness to give a significant amount. And so that helps. So for everybody here and just anybody that it's always good to consider if that's an opportunity in your network, not asking necessarily you to be that donor, but if that's not in your capacity, but within your network, that's really where most of our donors come from, is within your own networks. But yes, it's certainly always a priority, and also corporate giving and foundations. It's just harder. It's a much harder.
TikTok. Yes. Fundraise through TikTok, yeah. Yeah, social media is very powerful. The other thing that I would say is banding together with others in your community that are in similar situations. I've always been someone on the board. I've been on the board for I think 10 years now. And, I always say I'm not really good friends with people with a lot of money. That's just not the circles that I run in. And but I try to do a lot by bringing groups together, and we host the NM, the marathon gathering, and bring that group together every year in November. And we've had as many as 70 people join us at our gathering on that Saturday, and just people coming from all over the world to run. And so every year we get different applications to run that, and we choose 5 runners every year. So there are things that you can do even if you're not, feeling like you have these major donors in your network that can be contributing tens of twenties of thousands of dollars. And if you have other things in your area that are really cool, let's think about ways that we could work with you to combine efforts to maybe do something associated with an event. That would be an exciting thing, because people do want to come out for those sorts of things. They love to get together with the community. That's really been what I've done a lot, less with the fundraising aspect, but more of the community building aspects. But fundraising certainly comes with that as well. And so, as Jen said, every little bit helps. And we're excited to help brainstorm with you and find ways to continue to do all of these wonderful things. And would invite you to work with us as part of AFBS if you're interested. And it's really just a lovely, lovely community. And we meet not quite often, every few weeks, a couple weeks on Zoom, but we laugh a lot. And it's really, it's great. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful group of people. So let us know if you're interested in joining any of our committees or more interested in working with the board. We'd love to have more folks involved.
I second that. Yep. It's we have such a wonderful board. Many of them are here today, and so integral to our progress, including these committees that we have. So definitely keep that in mind if it's something that you want to commit to. I want to be able to give us time for the Q&A and other things, so I'm just going to take a quick couple more minutes to go over a few other things. This is somewhat related to fundraising, but I wanted to introduce it. There's something new that we're going to be doing this year, the Nemaline Myopathy Awareness Advocacy Honors. That's quite a title, so we might slim that down. But for now, the concept is that we want to give people in the community an opportunity to be recognized for their work in building awareness and advocating for NM through fundraising and awareness. So what we're going to be launching is this concept of nominating someone, either yourself or somebody in the community that you think would be a great person to represent NM awareness. And what we'll do is we'll feature that person or this group of people and share their story and share their connection to NM. And it's a way to introduce NM to more people and to recognize and honor the people that are doing the hard work to support AFBS. So just keep that in mind, that this is like a great way. It's sort of like if you've ever been to a fundraising dinner or a gala or something where they honor someone and they're asking their network to join, but this would be more of a virtual concept because we're all in different places all around the world. So this is just a way to participate and get maybe more involved in fundraising if you're not already in a virtual way, and we will support that every step of the way. So just something to keep in mind. The QR code is there if you think of somebody that you want to nominate or if you want to submit yourself, you can do that, and it'll also be on our website, and we'll communicate that all via email. So very briefly, I'm going to touch on this just because I think it's important for everybody to know, but we'll be talking about it more in the next session, the NM research updates. You may have seen the table right outside this room for citizen health. In the next session, there's going to be a video that explains more about citizen health and why it's so important. But essentially, what we have an opportunity to do through a grant through CZI is develop a retrospective natural history study. And I'm not going to go too much into detail of the value of a natural history study because in the next session, Tina Duong from Stanford will be explaining all of that. But basically, the concept is you register with it with Citizen Health. It's free. It's very quick and easy. Mikkel outside can help you register. You put in the places that you've received care as an affected individual. Then Citizen Health, and you consent to share your data with Citizen Health. And they collect all of your medical records from all of the institutions that you've seen. They do all the work for you. All you have to do is say either the doctor or the institution that you've received care at, and they pull all the records, and you're able to access all of that data. There's a new AI tool that analyzes everything, and you can do queries to get information like anything that you're looking for, historical data that analyzes it. So it's a great resource to you. And then what we'll be able to do is take that data and create a natural history study based on your medical records. So it's a really valuable tool, and it's really important to have this data and a natural history study. So. Thank you for asking. Yeah, so the challenge, it is US-based. Right now, there are legal challenges with navigating medical records in other countries. So you're able to register as if you're outside of the US, but it won't be able to be used for the natural history study because they can't pull comprehensive medical data, unfortunately. So I hope down the line that's something that they can figure out, but it's legal, the legal barriers of.
Because what I did is I register. And I'm from Mexico, so there's no way they can pull the data, but I have a whole directory of Leo's condition, and I was able to put it into the system, and it it's on the repository. So there is a lot of data that is there, but it just doesn't seem to be, for those that are Canadian or abroad, it seems that if we put the data there, it's useful, but it will not just be updated, contrary to US, which US seems to be once you register. So I invite you all to, number one, do your whole medical assessments, which you probably already have, but then upload that.
Thank you, Adrian. It is still very valuable, and you still have the resources available for yourself to use those tools. It just you can't participate in the natural history study, but still very important. I encourage everybody to participate in that. So Michaela's out there, and she can help you do that very quickly and easily. So I encourage you to do it while you're here, and then you can get it done. And then the other thing that, like I said, we'll be talking about in the next session is the natural history study, which I'm sure you've all been hearing about for quite a while, and we'll be able to talk about the next steps as things are looking very promising to start soon. So we'll get into that in the next session in the interest of time. And then the last thing that we'll also talk about is the biobank and the importance of tissue donations to the biobank. But again, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip ahead, but I just wanted to plug those three things as they're very important as things that you can do now to contribute to research. And now I'm going to pass it over to Lynn.
All right, so we have about 20 minutes for some conversation within the community, and many of you submitted questions when you filled out the information that Greta had sent to do our lovely little slide deck. So I pulled some themes together, so I thought I'd, ooh, sorry. Oh, I think that's you, yes, that picks it up. Yeah, and this is really an opportunity for information sharing amongst the group. There's obviously a lot of sessions happening that are giving wonderful advice about different therapies, pulmonary care, feeding, all of the things. But we also know that we learn so much from each other within this community on tips and tricks and things that we found useful. So I think the first thing, there are a lot of questions that came in related to useful therapies or different medical equipment, supplements, balance of therapy. So, things that maybe aren't common that have really worked for some of you in helping with care or sustaining, not being fatigued by so many things. So would love to open up to anybody to share thoughts about maybe some things that have worked well for you in helping with quality of life and being out there and being active, and would love to, I kind of put a lot in, but would love to hear any advice because a lot of questions came in around this. And I'd love someone to jump in, start it. Because I think once someone starts, okay, thanks, Anna.
When we heard the people talking about the lungs and so on, I remember what I did with Wilma when she was, you don't remember this, but when she was really little and she couldn't speak properly. She didn't speak properly till she was 6 years old. She had her kind of own language due to weakness in her mouth. So what her father and I did was, because we wanted to know when her lungs felt normal, so we could compare that when she started to have a cold and how she felt then. So we made a kids game with her. So even though she didn't have a proper language or the proper words when she got a little bit older, she could telling us and starting telling us, I don't feel well. I can't breathe properly. I'll feel sore. And therefore, we know that we could start with, the cough assist machine earlier, or ventilator, or inhalations earlier, just so it wouldn't be so bad when it finally hit her. So that's kind of a tip I had, that even though you play something with your children, with a doll or a teddy bear, and talk about the lungs, because I think it's so important for them. And I say it because I had NM. It's so important that we have words for where does it ache, and when it aches, is it a normal ache or is it a special ache? Is this related to NM? Or is it just that I have growing pains? So it's so important to teach our children about the NM they have and put words into it. I mean, it's not easy to say, I can't even say it on English, but NM, it's not easy to say MN. So say something else so your children can explain for friends at school or whatever. So that's my tip.
Thank you. Any other? Cindy?
Thanks. Actually, you made me think of this, but we also do it too in a different capacity. Both of our kids are on ventilators, so this mostly relates to people who either use the cough or a ventilator. Sometimes when you do cough or suction, a lot of secretions come out and they'll go into like the vent tubing, and you're like, oh my God, now there's all these secretions in the vent tubing, and you can't really just change vent tubing like all the time. So Lynn and I, we take, yeah, we did it. Like blue tubing, like the big blue tubing, we cut it into like 6-inch pieces, and we attach a blue 6-inch piece like right from her trachea, so that all the saliva or the secretions go into the blue tubing, and you can just change that little piece of tubing instead of having like all the secretions in, yeah.
This is an example. So this is Greta's cloth, and you have this long piece, and when you get gook in it, you're like, oh shit, I don't have some cloth on. So we just have this little extra piece that attaches. It goes in here, we chuck it, and then we put on a new piece and clean out this, and it's a beautiful system. And it's great for very active folks that, you know, aren't always at home to cut, and you don't want to waste, right? Like, don't want to waste. So yeah, that's a great step. Other tips. Ooh, Adriana, coming to you.
Thank you. Oh, thanks, Jen. Yeah, maybe you can help me run. Do you care? Get my steps in, which I don't care about, obviously, but I'm going to try.
I don't know how big it is that you get vitamin supplements and coenzymes and that kind of stuff, but for our kid, we got a lot of those. And I am a chemist, so when I ask the doctors, like, hey, where can I buy this? They are like, oh, you don't buy it. Someone will do it for you. I was okay, I don't like this. So I went with the chemist that manufactured it, and we end up using commercial drugs, and they do the right manufacturing. But at the end of the day, I was putting in my kid 2 milliliters of what he needs and 25 milliliters of the rest they were doing. So I said, this should be wrong. Like, this should be a better idea. And I found that in US, I don't know in other parts of the world, but in US it's very easy to get pure chemistry grade vitamins for like bodybuilders and this kind of activities. So I start doing the recipes for Leo. And when the doctor realizes what I was doing, he said, well, can you explain that to other dads? Because sometimes, depending if they have a G-tube or depending how they are fed, it's very hard to put very small doses within the G-tube bags. It just doesn't work. So you need to develop what it's called in engineering a transport mechanism. So I developed all that using syringes and literally 3rd grade, 4th grade math. So if you guys have some dose of requirements, it's really not hard to do it. Once you know what you're looking for, I can teach you and someone can teach you and you can understand. Yes?
So we have lots of those supplements, and I'm wondering if we use lots of supplements, like you said, where we've also just done the math and figured out how to use it in Liv's G-tube. But I'm wondering what amino acids or what you're using specifically, if you found it. Like, we use creatine for Liv, and a few other amino acids that are supposed to help with muscle recovery. But I'm wondering if you've had...
I had B1, B6, B9, coenzyme Q10, and there was another I can't remember. And just for you to know, the trig vitamins are very soluble in water, so you can make your mixing water, but coenzymes are not. So when I was having a hard time how to make that happen, the quick solution is aceite de oliva, olive oil. So you put olive oil within the coenzyme and it will dissolve, and you use it just as if it is water. Depending on which coenzyme or vitamin you're using, I can tell you which it is. And you can just go literally to Costco, buy the big gallon, play some quick, we call it calibration curves. It's really just playing chemistry in your kitchen, really easy with syringes and nothing really complicated. And you can find a way on how to put all those supplements without the need of, at least in my case, I was putting like 90 chemicals in my kit for 2 that I really wanted. So we were avoiding all those
Have
other.
you found that it's helped him either with strength or fatigue, or how do you see it benefiting him?
To be honest, it's really hard for me to say because my kid has a mild condition. I don't even know if everything that we do, it really works or not, but doctors are amazed. That's the only, so I don't know. I just hope it does, and I hope that the medicine and the doctor that says he needs this, I just give it purely instead of giving it a lot, but I haven't been able to really realize if he improves with that, to be honest. There is another vitamin they give to a lot of NM. It's not a vitamin, it's a...
L-tyrosine?
L-tyrosine, but that's the easiest one. L-tyrosine is the easiest one to put into bottles and all that. Okay. But really, it's really easy, and if someone wants to know how to do it, I can just explain.
No, for you, because it's something that many of us have spoken in Facebook. For especially KLHL40, there is this study about pyridostigmine. Do I say it? Say it again. Pyridostigmine. It's there's another name. Lost in translation, so hard. If it was just a Brazilian conference, you know. I'll say, because we talk about this thing in Facebook all the time, okay? But then it increased the, Sharon, you don't know this, pyridostigmine that people, mestinone, have you heard? Oh, because many people, like L-tyrosine, that people talk a lot in the groups, there's also this mestinone, pyridostigmine, that they talk about for culture-like genes, and other people tried because the genes don't matter that much. But okay, I'll skip this question. I'll talk to you later, and then you test on your kid, because actually I'm just saying because it has made difference in my kid. If I take it out of Cecilia's diet, actually I felt she was weaker and more hypotonic. So that's what I'm saying.
Is that the study from Sweden? It's Spanish, okay.
It was a Spanish case.
It was a Spanish 9-year-old child that took that and increased muscle strength somehow.
Yeah, it was like administered by mistake. They didn't know that she had NM, so they thought that she had something else, and pyridostigmine was like indication for that. And once the kid has a diagnosis, they remove it, and she became much weaker than she was before. So they give it back, and she recovers part of her strength. So it's a paper, I think, from 2000 something.
Did you find it, Sharon? Yeah.
I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, well, oh my God.
Do you want me?
Yeah, I just pulled it up.
Oh, she has, okay.
See, it's pyridostigmine. I was right. You guys don't. Okay, so this medication was primarily used to treat myasthenia gravis, a neuromuscular disease, and then it also reversed the effects of non-depolarizing muscle relaxants after surgery and for prophylactic treatment of nerve agent exposure.
It's spelled P-Y-R-I-D. I'll start again. P-Y-R, oh yes. It's going to be impossible. Okay, yes. Well,
How do you say, Lynn? How would you?
I have no idea how you say that. Pyridostigmine, Pyridostigmine. I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and if anybody
Sure.
wants to come and take a screenshot of my
But the thing is, like, I buy this in Brazil because it's a very common medication for other things. So it's not like super new or super. So the thing is, it helped my child, but it doesn't make like, okay, now she's jumping around. You've seen Cecilia. But if she lacks of this, she's even more hypotonic, you know? So it's not life-changing to believe you're gonna jump around after that, but it actually does make a difference.
So the way it works, I'm Alex, I'm a doctor from Sweden. I'm helping 𝗓𝗪𝗔𝗂 here. So the way it works, when the nerve signals the muscle to contract, it leaves like at the synapse from the nerve to the actual muscle, there's small molecules called acetylcysteine that is supposed to act on the muscle and make it contract. Or at least it's like the signal from the nerve to the actual muscle. So the medication kind of blocks the reabsorption of the signal. So it leaves more of the acetylcysteine close to the muscle, which makes the muscle, I guess, work better. So that's the physiology behind it.
No, thank you for that, Alexander, Dr. Alexander. Yes, question or comment?
In Sweden, there has been one study worth mentioning. We didn't see a difference in Victoria, but it's salbutamol and albuterol. Yeah. So, and I know that a few of the community members in Sweden have seen a difference, being able to do things that they weren't before.
So, I mean, sometimes when you take meds, there's a bad side effect. So, but with this medication, they haven't seen those or felt those.
Yeah.
No.
One thing to know with that, with albuterol, because some of you may use it when you're doing a nebulizing treatment. We now use levalbuterol because with albuterol, Liv's heart rate went crazy. So her doctors did say that she could try it. It's when you use it orally instead of as a mist. But we would just need to monitor her heart. So just know that if any of you know that albuterol spikes your heart rate, then don't do it.
The research, yeah. We use albuterol too with Greta occasionally within nebulizer, and your heart rate does go up. Like, she doesn't love it, but sometimes we need it just to clear the gook out. What time is it? Where's Jen?
Albuterol I think that's banned as a I used to do track and field, so depending on what kind of it's a beta 2 what's it called? Yeah, a stimulator. Yeah. So in sports it's banned because it can give you stronger muscles.
Okay. Oh, so it helps.
So it helps. Yeah. So you're not allowed to take that.
I didn't even realize that had an impact on muscles, so that's very... Well, right. No, I'm like, wow, all these things that we're learning. And I think this is just a lovely example of all of the knowledge and experience in our community and why it's so important to do whatever you can to connect with other community members. And, you know, we try to share information that we're learning about through our work with the foundation, but just being involved in those social media groups and connecting with families and learning. I mean, and learning from those with NM, right? Like that's what's important, right? And as our kids get older and are able to communicate more of of what they need and what they don't need and what feels good and what doesn't feel good, like that's part of it as well. Did you want to say something, Leticia?
Can I ask something for the community? Question for the community. If anyone is using or used the scopolamine patches for reducing secretions?
Saliva
yeah, you know the scopolamine patches to reduce it? No.
Were you gonna? Oh, okay. Anna, did you try?
You mean like sickness? Yeah. I didn't do that, but I actually used other kinds of motion sickness, and they have helped. Now, though, I go around in my bed all the time because there was a doctor who I'm on a what is SSRI medicine on English?
SSRI.
Yeah, I'm on a SSRI, not because I have a depression, but the side effect of that medication is that it takes away secretion. Vad heter det?
Secretions or?
It makes my saliva more dry, but it's still such a small amount, so it doesn't affect my moods. I can still be sad and so on. But so I am on a SSRI for secretion.
Question for the doctor: can you get that as an off-label prescription? Do you know if like some doctors give that as an off-label prescription for the secretions, or do you have to have a condition for like depression or whatever?
No. In Sweden, we're allowed to do it off-label.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Sweden, allowed to do it off-label. Not sure about other parts, but something. Yeah. Jen, I think we're at, it's like 3:30. What time is it? 3:30 is when the session ends. We have a 30-minute break. Oh, we do? Okay. So we do have a research update at 4 o'clock. So please come back for that. Lots of exciting information to share. Also, many of our researchers here, we'd love to tell you more about what's been going on. And then again, right after that, we will have a group picture. If you did pick up, I think all the shirts are gone, but if you picked up a shirt, wear your shirt. We'd love to see them. In the picture, we have flags we can wave. But again, thank you all. There's obviously so many things that we could talk about. Hopefully you picked up 1 or 2 important nuggets of information that you can share. Yeah, this is our group picture from Nashville. So some familiar faces there that are in the room today. And, you know, all of our kids are growing up in front of our eyes, which is crazy. But please, yes, definitely come back. And thank you all so very much for being here and contributing to today's conversation. We value everything you have to share with us and certainly want to continue to connect with all of you. So we'll see you at 4 o'clock.